Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home.
Today we are working to clear the Flint tube in yet another aluminum block petrol lighter. It's a pretty cool little lighter, almost square shaped, and engine turned on 5 sides, everything but the face of the lighter. It's got a tiny little fuel screw in it and what looks to be a very long Flint spring screw. Inset just like most of the others that we have been pulling out of these old aluminum block petrol lighters that you can see. That is the longest of the inset screws that we have pulled out of any of these thus far. Get a rag here. There's our Flint spring. We'll give both of these, the spring and the screw, just a little cleaning off in the disinfectant cloth. And we knew that there was old degraded flint in there because the file wheel was just spinning freely. And looks like it is coming up short. Just see if we can do this. Looks like we can. Just a little bit of pressure with our hand there was all it took. More of that green, putrid looking old flint dust that we've been finding in all these. And we have contact with the file wheel now. Get our canned air. Give that a little spray. Looks like it might have been a new lighter. Hard to say exactly. Wick is a little frayed there on the end, but still snaps down nice and tight because of the big cutout of the snuffer. So we will just see how that all operates together. Drop a flint down the tube. That didn't work very well. Right down the tube. Flint spring behind it, followed by this long inset Flint spring screw. Take that down as far as we can by hand. See if that's still not making contact. A little bit of friction going on there, but not enough to throw a spark. Just see what it does when we move that wick out of the way, and I still couldn't see a spark. So we do have a spark there now. Get this wick back over there where it needs to be so that the snuffer will close properly. and open this fuel screw. This may be the tiniest fuel screw I've ever seen. We can go ahead and get our old degraded Flint off the table here. And start filling this with fuel. A solid flow of fuel that was going into the lighter, and you can see there where fuel is still visible as it is pooling there in the neck of those threads. So that may be all that it's going to hold, and yes, I believe it is. So we're going to shake this out off camera. Replace our tiny little fuel screw. And I cannot imagine, with all this fuel that is in my hands right now, that we're not going to end up with vapor lock afflicting this lighter. Got the fuel cap back on. Dry off all this excess fluid. Has a nice strong snap from that piston spring that you can see right there. See the spark from the Flint. Don't know that we can tighten that down anymore. Blow on that wick a little bit. You can see the spark making it over to the wick. But it is not the strongest spark I've ever seen. And in conjunction with what is most likely vapor lock there from the wick being so saturated, but as you guys have seen recently with these old lighters, when you are clearing a Flint tube and fueling it up all in one video, and you don't really have time to let that fuel volatility settle, you do from time to time end up with a lighter that doesn't appear as though it's going to work, that once the fuel volatility settles down, which you would like to see it strike at least one time anyway. But this may be another one of those with the weak shower of sparks that it is exhibiting. May need a Dunhill blue flint. So may require a little bit more experimentation, trial and error, and who knows what other variables we may have to tweak here and there to finally get this lighter to work. This would not be a very fun one to re-wick with that tiny little hole. And the top of that wick is definitely in a little bit of a janky condition. See what will happen here if we try to jump start it. So we do have plenty of fuel, just not a sufficient spark. So stick around. We'll see exactly what we can do to get this lighter working and igniting as it should. Until next time.